because I was also in a space of like, I also was dealing with rejection, abandonment issues. So I thought like, I did something wrong. They're not gonna love me anymore. Da 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 da. I went through that whole thing, and I was like, what did I do? What did I do?
So who is the new Janelle Monáe, and why did she make such a drastic change? Was it new parties, new people, new drugs? Let's find out. In the beginning of Janelle's career, she was very insecure about living up to the industry standards of women and how they often objectified women's bodies. So Janelle, who was a perfectionist, sometimes to a fault, created a foolproof image that she would use as a body of armor to protect herself. But in Janelle's words, she overcompensated, which would lead to unintended consequences. Janelle had become a character in many people's eyes. Dark, futuristic outfits that put her in a different frequency. People also began to look at her as a model of how a respectable woman should dress, as if to pit her against women who dress sexy, which was a position that Janelle had never taken.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely like bent on being a perfectionist, from the way that I performed to whatever you saw, like, and I would go back and have these breakdowns because I literally was trying in my head, like I saw something and I was like, if it didn't get to that level, there was nothing salvageable about it that I wanted to keep.
And even when Janelle began coming out of her shell and showing more of her body, it went largely unnoticed, as the industry as well as fans will often put artists in a box. And this began to weigh on Janelle, as she was finding out that people's perceptions was not something she could control, even when they went against truth.
This is a respectable way of dressing. I remember like when I wore my suit, a lot of people would push those respectability politics on me, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it. I'm like, you think I wear a suit because what? I'm wearing something that I like. And they were just like, if you show this, then they're not gonna take your message. They're not gonna listen to what it is that you have to say. If I show my cleavage on the carpet, they're not gonna listen to my messaging. Because I was also in a space of like, I also was dealing with rejection, abandonment issues. So I thought like, I did something wrong. They're not gonna love me anymore. Da 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 da. I went through that whole thing, and I was like, what did I do? What did I do?
Janelle, in a sense, was living a double life, overly dressed in public, while in her private life, she was running around topless, living free. She would become inspired by a unique cultural experience known as Everyday People, who was known for their exotic parties.
Everyday People, shout out to Everyday People. It's here in New York. They go to LA, they're in the continent, Africa, like all around, and it is the most beautiful Black and brown people you have ever seen.
Everyday people.
Partying, strangers, looking at each other, smiling, hugging. It goes from 4 p.m. to 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. I looked around when I saw everybody coming in, like the vibe from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. felt one way. Like you see people in the sun, you're looking at the swimsuits, you're in the pool. Then from 6 to 9, as the sun is going down, you're looking at the magenta sky, you're looking at like the mountains, and you're looking at people and how they're moving. And then it goes into night, people are sweating, clothes are coming off. Like it's the greatest experience on earth. And I was just like, oh my God, if I could bottle this up, put it in like some type of bottle and sprinkle it around the world, like I would do that. And I said that I have to musically, I have to capture what I'm seeing.
When the pandemic hit, Janelle began to experience anxiety attacks, which she has a history of. But the pandemic was a little different, and during this time, she would start smoking weed as well as mushrooms. Janelle had always been afraid of drugs because of growing up with parents who were drug addicts. In fact, she believes her extreme perfectionism stems from her struggles with the abandonment and rejection she once felt from her father, even though they are now close. So now Janelle, who was on the brink of making new music while filming Glass Onion, was about to literally show the world a side of herself they had never seen. A side of herself that couldn't give a damn about your opinions. And just like that, she floated. For the first time in her career, Janelle let it all hang out. The chest, the stress, her sexual preferences, which she had hinted in previous music. and she couldn't look any happier. So I got a question for you. Is this the Janelle you were hoping for? Like it or not, here she is. Thank you so much for tuning in to Life is Lyrical. This is Kev. Let me know in the comments what you think of Janelle's transformation. And also make sure you hit like and subscribe if you want more content like this. We got so much more coming for you. This is Kev from Life is Lyrical. Wishing y'all peace, love, lyrics.